See what they do to create.
Pleasant good morning. Kindly stand for the arrival of His Excellency, the Governor General, Sir Rodney Williams. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning to everyone once again. Permit me to acknowledge His Excellency, the Governor General, Sir Rodney Williams, Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown, and honorable members of the Cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda, members of the Upper House of Parliament, to include the President of the Senate, members of Parliament, and in particular, Member of Parliament for the constituency of All Saints West, the Honorable Anthony S. Smith Jr. and Mrs. Smith, and other members of the family, specially invited guests. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Government House. We welcome you to this brief, historical, and important ceremony this morning, which is the swearing in of a new member of the Cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda. At this time, I would like for you to be upstanding once again for the playing of the national anthem of Antigua and Barbuda, which is very fitting at this time. Thank you. Please be seated. Your Excellency, permit me at this time to place into context what would have occasioned us being here this morning. Today, in the words of Sir Paul King Obstinate Richards, come see how our democracy works. Our democracy is on full display today. The Honorable Anthony Smith, in accordance with the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, particularly Section 41(1), which states that a member of the House shall vacate his seat in the House if, having been elected to the House by virtue of being a member of a political party, he resigns his party whip and withdraws his allegiance from that party. The Constitution further states that provided that he shall not be required to vacate his seat so long as he remains an independent member of the House. The Honorable Anthony Smith has decided to be an independent member of the House. He has not crossed over from the opposition benches to the ruling party benches. The Constitution does not permit this. Therefore, there shall be no by-election. He remains a member of the House of Representatives until the Parliament is dissolved and a general election is called. We are, however, here today because the Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown, under Section 69, subsections 3 and 4, and Section 71(1), advised the Governor General to make appointment as a minister or member of the cabinet and assign responsibility for any business of government to a member of the House of Representatives. In this case, independent member, the Honorable Anthony S. Smith, Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to, at this time, deviate from the norm of this business and request of His Excellency, due to the historical nature of the business today and due to his vast experience as a former Minister of Government, serving under two of our nation's great leaders, Sir V.C. Byrd Sr. and Celesta Byrd, to come forward and offer words of congratulations and sound advice to the Honorable Anthony S. Smith, Jr., who has offered himself for service to the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maurice Merchant, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Members of Cabinet, Honorable Members of Parliament. You said the Speaker, the President of the Senate. You see, I don't like to go through all these things because I don't always see everybody when I come in. The Honorable Member of the Senate, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to be here with you all this morning. But before I begin, I want to congratulate my staff, because you would not know, but we are now renovating this main building, having finished the West Wing. And if you saw this room yesterday afternoon, it was nothing like the way it looks now. So I want to congratulate my PS and all the staff of the Office of the Governor General. Honorable Anthony Smith and Mrs. Smith. This morning, Honorable Smith, I want to congratulate you on your appointment as a minister of our government. It is indeed historic for Antigua and Barbuda, because I think you are the first independent MP who has been given such an appointment. That tells me that the Prime Minister, in his wisdom, thinks that the young people of this country have something to render, and therefore this is why you were appointed. If you look at many other developed countries of the world, you see many of the persons who become ministers are in their 60s, in their 70s, but not so in Antigua and Barbuda. As a young man, it tells me that you have a long life, and that if you keep close to your constituency, and if you do the right things, you'll have an even longer life in politics. I also think that you can be a very good role model for our young people. And so I would like you to bear that in mind as you carry out your duties. You have a service to give. And I think that it is important for you to recognize that now you will not just be representing your constituency, but you'll be representing all Antigua and Barbuda. And so that to me is important. For a long time, ever since I was Minister of Tourism, we have always spoken about making the linkages between tourism and agriculture stronger. And I would want you to place specific emphasis on seeking to strengthen the bonds between tourism and agriculture so that our farmers can do well, so that our economy can do well, and that people can continue to enjoy a high quality of life. In that case, my understanding is that you have been a successful businessman. So I would want to hope that you will bring those qualities to bear on your ministry so that your ministry can be a success as well. I think it is also important to say that you will have time to do this. And what I think is good is that you have senior members in the government on whom you can lean for guidance, apart from the Prime Minister. And I would say to you too that at any time, feel free to lean on the Governor General. Because I did 20 years. Well, I was born in politics, which many people don't know. When I was born, my father was already in politics. And then I served 20 years. So when you add them all together, it's 60 plus years of politics. So this morning I want to wish you a very successful term and hope that you will continue to work hard and bring benefit to Antigua and Barbuda so that our people can enjoy a better quality life. Thank you very much.
Thank you most kindly, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, in his letter of resignation from the opposition party, the Honorable Anthony Smith stated that the decision was not taken lightly. It was motivated by a deep-seated commitment to his constituents and to the principles of good governance and ethical conduct. These principles of good ethical conduct are hallmarks of the leadership qualities of the Honorable Gaston Browne. He has often proclaimed that the Honorable Anthony Smith shows signs of great potential in the field of politics. So there is no surprise that he has reached out to the Honorable Member to join his cabinet and provide service to the people of Antigua and Barbuda under the guidelines of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Permit me to ask the Honorable Prime Minister to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremony. I acknowledge our distinguished Governor General, Sir Rodney Williams, my colleague ministers, other members of Parliament, and certainly the man of the moment, His Excellency, the Honorable Anthony Smith, Jr., and his wife, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today we are gathered here to witness the extension of the oath of office of minister to be conferred on the Honorable Anthony Smith, who will be extended the ministerial position of Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and the Blue Economy. This ministry is a very important ministry, and it is indicative of the confidence that we have in Anthony Smith. As indicated by our distinguished Master of Ceremony, Honorable Anthony Smith will remain an independent member of the House. However, he will have an accommodation with the Gaston Browne administration to the extent that I've decided to extend a ministerial position to him. I feel absolutely confident that he has the capacity to serve as the minister as described earlier, and that he's totally committed to making a significant contribution towards the advancement of his constituents and the people of Antigua and Barbuda in general. I would have observed his entry into politics 18 months ago, and always felt that he had some capacity and the type of decency that we could have engaged him as an individual with whom we could have a relationship. This is something that I would have said publicly before the opportunity arose within the last few days to work with him. I recognize that he was operating within a very toxic environment, an environment in which it would have stymied his growth and development, and that he has utilized the opportunity to transition to greener pastures so that he could better serve his constituents. We'd have held discussions about service, and I'm fully aware that he understands the importance of serving people and that there is no better calling than to serve your fellow man, your fellow woman. And therefore, I would say here that we are fully aligned in terms of our values, the values of transparency, accountability, and good governance in general. He understands that those are values that are fully entrenched in my administration, and that our singular purpose is to serve the people of Antigua and Barbuda and to bring them resilient prosperity. Whereas the Honorable Anthony Smith Jr. will be an independent member of the Parliament of Antigua and Barbuda and will start with an accommodation with the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, I am quite sure that there will be other opportunities for him to have an even closer nexus with the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. But that is a matter for the future. I want to take this opportunity to wish him every success in his new role as minister. And just to give a little synopsis, the agricultural component or subject area of your portfolio is extremely important. It is an area that requires significant energy. And I certainly want to thank the Honorable Paul Chet Green, Minister Paul Chet Green, for his magnanimity in making agriculture and fisheries available to you, a critical area in addressing our food security, or food insecurity for that matter. And it is an area in which we intend to invest heavily. And therefore, we would like you to literally hit the road running. This is an area that requires urgent attention as we seek to make more lands available to farmers, to provide them more leases. We have a very extensive concessionary program for farmers. We want to make sure we attract more investments in the farming sector, and at the same time to bring more technology to that sector. And I say to you, Mr. Smith, Honorable Anthony Smith Jr., that you be tasked with the responsibility to further energize that sector, which obviously has been energized by the Honorable Paul Chet Green within the last 18 months. But again, we expect you to build on the successes that the Honorable Paul Chet Green would have achieved during the last 18 months. The blue economy is also very important as we seek to further diversify our country's economy, and that is an area that we would like you to also pursue with energy as we seek to sustainably develop the marine sector to include not only to harvest fish and fish products, but also to look at mineral deposits and even to look at sand mining on a sustainable basis without creating any environmental impact. So I say all this to say that you have a very significant ministry. This is the confidence that myself and my cabinet colleagues would have placed in you. We ask you to seize the opportunity and to ensure that you make a positive contribution towards the development of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Having spoken to you, you would have indicated your interest to make sure that your constituents are not left behind. That in itself would have said to me that you are well rooted and you understand the need to ensure that you do not leave your constituents behind. I would have given you a private undertaking that we will accelerate development in your constituency, and I state so publicly that having given that private undertaking, that the All Saints West constituency will be given significant priority in terms of addressing the infrastructural needs and other needs of the people of that constituency. I take this opportunity by wishing you, or to wish you, a most successful tenure in office, and to let you know you not only have my personal support, but you have the support of all of my distinguished colleagues. Clearly, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party administration is the most equipped administration to govern the country at this time. An administration that has a mixture of youth and experience. We have had individuals who have been in government for over 40 years, Sir Malwin, Sir Cutie, Sir Robin, who should be returning to the island shortly. So you have a significant amount of institutional knowledge to rely upon. And we expect you to be one of the shining stars in this country's future. I'll say to you, don't be daunted by the detractors. From time to time, individuals have to read the political landscape and to take risk in the benefit of to the benefit of your constituents. And that is precisely what you've done, rather than staying in a toxic environment and to literally preside over the demise of your career. So I certainly commend you for your courageous position. There will certainly be detractors, there will be ridicule, but that too shall pass. So I ask you to remain courageous, to focus on the task that we have given you, to empower farmers. Let us understand to the importance of farmers. In fact, I'll say here that farmers are the kings and queens of all professions, and agriculture is clearly the most important industry. And we want you to treat our farmers with the type of respect and give them the type of support that they deserve, because at the end of the day, if there's no farmer, there's no food, there's no future. So again, we are entrusting you with this very important responsibility, and we look forward to your strong and enduring performance, and certainly your most successful tenure as a minister and a parliamentarian. Again, be assured of our full support, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, Section 76 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda states that the Prime Minister, every other minister, and every parliamentary secretary shall, before entering upon the duties of his office, make and subscribe the oath of allegiance, the oath of office, and the oath of secrecy. Anthony S. Smith, Jr., Minister for Agriculture, Land, Fisheries, and the Blue Economy.
I, Anthony Smith, Jr., do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. I, Anthony Smith, Jr., do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and the Blue Economy, and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. I, Anthony Smith, Jr., do swear that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose any counsel, advice, opinion, or vote given by any minister as a member of the Cabinet, and that I will not, except without authority of the Cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the proper conduct of the government of Antigua and Barbuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet or on any matter coming to my knowledge as a member of the Cabinet. So help me God.
as the Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Land, Fisheries, and the Blue Economy, Anthony S. Smith, Jr. His responsibilities will include the Ministry of Agriculture Headquarters, the Agriculture Development Corporation, Fisheries, the Antigua Fisheries Limited, Food Production, Animal Husbandry, Veterinary Services, Agricultural Extension Services, Central Marketing Corporation, Chemistry and Food Technology Division, Marine Resources, Agro Industries, Surveys, the Survey Office, the Development Control Authority, Sustainable Development, including the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, Lands, and the Blue Economy.
Anthony S. Smith, Jr., Esquire. By virtue of the power and authority vested in me, under Section 71, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Anthony S. Smith, Jr., to hold the office of Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and the Blue Economy, with effect from the 16th day of July 2024. Given under my hand and the public seal, this 16th day of July 2024, and in the second year of His Majesty's reign. Heartiest congratulations.
As mentioned, very brief ceremony, and so we will have some official photographs at the moment. We'll invite Mrs. Smith. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of an historical occasion. When we leave here, we want you to continue to give your support to the honorable member and defend him. Kindly stand for the departure of His Excellency. Kindly feel free to continue to offer your congratulations and to take photographs. Thank you very much.
Anthony Smith Jr., as you know, is a young man in his 30s. We're trying to put our succession planning in place now. You have to recognize that we have an aging institution in terms of membership. I'm in my 50s, I have members who are in their 60s and 70s. So it's important for us to continue to attract new young talent and also capable talent, competent individuals who can help us to transition Antigua and Barbuda Party into the future. And Anthony Smith is one such individual. You recognize that within the last 18 months, the Labour Party has been attracting a lot of young talent. We've had Michael Joseph in Rural West. We've had Randy Baltimore in St. Philip's North, and several others, even Dwayne George in St. Mary's South. So that transition is taking place, and what we're trying to do is to ensure that we have capable, young and committed people who can continue to preside over the empowerment of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Ultimately, what we're seeking to do is to provide resilient prosperity for all Antiguans and Barbudans. And not only to do so at this time, but to make sure that even in the future we have capable young people who can continue that job of ensuring sustainable prosperity, resilient prosperity for the people of Antigua and Barbuda.
Reverend Sir, this is the first time an independent member of parliament is becoming a minister. What did you see? Why did you make that decision firstly, and why Anthony Smith? What did you see in him?
Well, from the onset, and I would have said this publicly, that he has capacity. Clearly he needs guidance and a little more training, which I believe he can get within the Antigua and Barbuda Party. The Antigua and Barbuda Party is a stable organization, a legacy institution, unlike the UPP that continues to have significant instability, and obviously is a very cannibalistic institution, so it doesn't provide the type of framework for young, capable individuals to grow and develop. And I would have even said to him privately, perhaps about 18 months ago, that he may experience difficulties developing within the UPP because of that very hostile, hateful culture, and that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party would provide him with the type of stability and members of the experience and the guidance to be mentors to help him to grow and develop. So after he would have experienced some difficulties in recent times, he took the decision to move to a better organization where he could grow and develop and could better service people. And what will happen to based on the accommodation is that part of our commitment is to accelerate the advancement of All Saints West, especially in terms of infrastructural work. So we are committed to ensuring that we put the steps in place or put all the necessary arrangements in place to ensure that we deliver on that promise. And again, you can see his commitment to the people in that he did just come and ask for a job. He says, look, he wants to be in a position to deliver for the people of All Saints West. He would have stated it in his letter as well. And with that type of alignment of service, I felt very comfortable engaging him. There is no known negative, so we'd have to go and defend any baggage. There are some who may frown on him, becoming an independent candidate and serving as a minister. But I believe he would have done so in the interests of the people of All Saints West, and ultimately would have preserved his own career based on the cannibalistic, let's say, culture that exists within the UPP.
Reverend Sir, final question. I know you have to go because there's several pictures. You said that this accommodation might lead to something else, might morph into something else in terms of working closely. More, you said a bigger nexus, a closer nexus with the ABLP going forward. What would that entail?
Well, that's the objective. I don't necessarily want to make any precise pronouncements at this point, but I know you're a very imaginative person, and the others out there who can probably figure it out. I don't want to say anything that will undermine his independence. Clearly, he's an independent member of parliament, and I know that they are opportunistic persons who are looking for the opportunity to sue to say that he's not independent. So all I'm saying at this point is that I'm quite sure that going forward there will be a closer nexus with the Labour Party and that there will be other opportunities to be exploited.
A crucial ministry, this is your final, but a crucial ministry.
Very, because you know how I feel about food security, and certainly all of my colleagues are committed. We're one of the most food insecure countries in the world, and that is an area that we have to give priority. So we'll make sure that we improve the lot of farmers, providing them with more opportunities to develop land, more incentives, more support. And we will also ensure too that they get long leases to give them some security of tenure. So he has the remit now to ensure that we get these leases going, that we provide more access roads to the farms, to provide more resources in terms of fertilizer and lighting. Basically just helping us to take agriculture to the next level so that we can increase production significantly and to address the issue of food security in a very meaningful way. You would know that even in my own personal capacity, I have taken the decision to lead by example and would have entered the farming space probably about 3 years ago. Notwithstanding all of the negativities, the castigations, I felt it was an important role for me to play, to lead by example. Not to crowd out other farmers, but to crowd them in and to encourage more investments within agriculture, because agriculture is not just about the technical aspects of farming, but you also have to attract significant investments in order to increase agricultural production. And my entry into that field or that industry is to encourage others to do likewise, because our food security is a very important area for us to prioritize at this time. So I think he's coming at a time in which we're making additional resources, and he should be able to perform very well to build on the successes of Minister Green. There are already a number of plans in place, and he'll now be tasked with the responsibility to execute those plans. The marine sector as well, fisheries, and even our seas in terms of carbon sequestration, and literally getting technologies to measure the amount of carbon that our seas or oceans sequester, and to monetize the carbon credits arising from the sequestration of carbon. That's an area too that he will have to look at, and we're looking at the possibility of some level of sand mining as well, to do so on a sustainable basis without any environmental impact, or if there's any, they'll be limited. So very good time for him to enter and to distinguish himself as perhaps one of the most successful ministers to have ever served in that ministry.
Congratulations indeed. Your reaction to this point?
Well, I want to first focus on the task ahead. And what's most important is Antigua and Barbuda and nation development. And that should always come first in whatever we decide to do as politicians. Presently, I was given a very huge task by the Prime Minister, which I'm very grateful, and I know the people of All Saints West and the people of Antigua and Barbuda would be grateful for the positions of the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and the Blue Economy. So at this time, my task will be to ensure food security for the nation, something that I take daily. I am deeply committed, and I am, sincerely going to work to do my very best to achieve for first, the people of Antigua and Barbuda and the constituency of All Saints West. And I know at this time that persons will be still hurt. Some persons will be hurt that I would have decided to withdraw my allegiance from the United Progressive Party, and I can understand. And so I understand persons will be hurt at this moment, but what I want persons to understand is that, the people of All Saints West, they elected me to serve and they elected me to lead. And I know that, as I said, persons would be hurt, but this is an opportunity driven to serve the people of All Saints West and the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And again, nation building comes before all the partisan politics that we see on the ground and we hear all the time. And again, I am very appreciative that the Prime Minister would have placed his trust in me as an independent member of the House, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to the people of All Saints West. And again, just to help persons to understand the process that, while some persons you would start to hear that they would be saying that I went over and I switched to the side of the government. In fact, I'm still serving as an independent member of the House, and again, very appreciative of the accommodations made by the government and the faith placed in the Prime Minister to me that I can serve the people and I can serve this country.
Right. Talk to us. You said in your letter of resignation from the UPP that decision was not taken lightly, but it would have been almost impossible, essentially, to have a reconciliation between your values, what you stand for, and the direction of the party. Let's talk to me about that, please.
Yeah. So I first want to say that my mantra still stands, and who I am still intact. When I decided to enter into politics, I always say it was for the love of people. For the love of people, and for the love of my constituency, and for the love of country. It was not a decision taken lightly. I would have expressed certain things in my letter. And, for quite some time, back and forth, I was battling with what would be the best decision for, first, the constituency of All Saints West, and by extension, the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And what would have transpired, I felt really unwanted. So much more that, I could say, but I prefer not to at this time. And I know, there would be a lot of requests for me to come and speak, but I will certainly make myself fully available to the media, to you there at ABS, and we can certainly, go over things when the time is right. But, I allowed what I had to say in the letter, and I hope that persons at this time take the opportunity to really read it and not just go off of what someone is saying, but understand again that the reason for this transition as an independent candidate and this accommodation by the government was to serve the constituency of All Saints West and the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Nation development comes before anything. I've been getting calls all yesterday, all this morning, and it was more so calls of encouragement. Persons saying to me that they're standing with me, and it really made me feel loved, and for me it helped me a lot to vindicate my decision that I'm making the right step again to serve the people of All Saints West and the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And I will say to you, since I've been elected as a parliamentarian, in fact, people have been calling me minister for a very long time. So I am happy to be here, and I'm happy to serve, and I'm deeply, again, committed to the country and my constituency.
A final question, because I know that you have to run, because there are many more pictures to be taken, many more pictures for posterity. You mentioned some of the plans for agriculture, food security, and so on. The blue economy is another crucial part of your ministry, so you'll be responsible for the sustainable development goals. So the Vision 2030 to ensure that small island developing states. Recently, the country just hosted the SIDS conference. The plans for the blue economy, and especially within the context of climate change.
Yeah. So again, the ministries that the Prime Minister would have placed in my portfolio, I will just go over them: Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Lands, and the blue economy. And again, where agriculture is concerned, food security is such an important thing. In fact, if I was just to think back of even when I was in school, even my teenage days, I always had a passion for farming. In fact, I farmed as a teenager. My father used to own a farm, and we did a lot of family farming. So again, being placed with this task and ensuring food security for our nation is going to be critical. I'm looking forward to working with the farmers. I'm looking forward to forming synergies with different ministries where we could really empower the people of Antigua and Barbuda. In fact, I want to thank the Governor General, for he as well would have suggested that between tourism and the Ministry of Agriculture, there's so much that we can do together. But where the blue economy is concerned, I'm extremely excited about the blue economy. Reason being, it's a new portfolio. relatively new portfolio still, and there's so much that as a country that we can tap into. I think we're surrounded by water, and the simplest way to explain the blue economy is everything water. So anything to do with the water, minerals, or coastline, I mean, it's going to be a task that I'm looking forward to. I know where the blue economy is concerned, there's so many grant funding that we could apply to around the world. I mean, in fact, if we look at one of the problems that we're having now, we could see the sargassum, the seaweed sargassum. And I intend to hit the ground running. I intend to make the people of Antigua and Barbuda proud. I intend to make the government proud, again, for placing the faith. Because it takes a lot. When you think about it, the Prime Minister has taken a really big step in placing me as an independent candidate, as a Minister of Government. So I'm looking forward again to making the government proud, my constituents proud, and most importantly, the people of Antigua and Barbuda proud.
Minister Smith, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Congratulations again on being a history maker, and wish you all the best in your portfolios. 4 of them. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Foreign Affairs, Trade and Barbuda Affairs, Honorable E.P. Chet Green.
First, I want to welcome Minister Smith to the team. I've got accustomed to the new member of the cabinet, but I can assure the public that he has come at a time when the platforms for agriculture are pretty much established in place, and so it is for him now to run with it, as the saying goes. I think he has the capacity, the skill sets. I remain available to him, to counsel, to advise, to show him what has been happening, and I'm sure the rest of the team in agriculture will also welcome him. If he so wishes, I intend to go for a general meeting with the staff at agriculture to have that transition done seamlessly, recognition of the new minister. A lot of things are happening in agriculture. I mean, there's a very large ministry space, and so you take in agriculture, fisheries. He has lands which I never had, but of course, elements like CMC. CMC has been a major plank of government's food program. When you look at the program of ensuring that ordinary folks, the lower end of society, eat and eat healthy, he will have a responsibility to maintain that approach to the CMC program. And so I believe that this morning's addition to the cabinet is a welcome one. It allows for even a greater, deeper focus on the subject matter of agriculture. I've had to, of course, split my time between agriculture, foreign affairs, and both are very demanding. I want to encourage young Smith to really get into the farming community, agriculture community as quickly as he can. We started just this past week with the issuing of recognition or ID passes for farmers. We have been tackling the issue of predial larceny and all the other issues. And so the new agricultural trust, he will now preside over the formation or the rolling out of that concept. So I think he's coming at the right time. The platform is built. It's for the minister to now himself insert himself, submerge himself into what is there. Of course, we all have our own styles. I'm not expecting him to be Chet Green, but using his own styles, his own way of doing things, of course, within the context of government's policy, I'm expecting to see great things from Anthony Smith in agriculture.
Yes. And of course, so going forward now in terms of foreign affairs, Barbuda affairs, I'm pretty sure that within the context of the cabinet, working closely together, because Barbuda affairs and his ministry will be crucially important.
Well, I'll still use the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to leverage benefits for agriculture. And that's something I've been doing for the last 18 months. I mean, every engagement I've had, I've used it to prop the agricultural space. For example, he will find very shortly to the abattoir a whole slew of new equipment donated by the Chinese government. I am due to go to China in September as part of a trade mission, and I've already asked the ambassador here to factor meetings around agriculture. I will not change that, because ultimately it's about Antigua Barbuda. And Prime Minister made a point this morning, food security, food sovereignty, those are very important points. And I'd like Smith to really internalize the significance of this ministry. He's now responsible for feeding the people of Antigua and Barbuda. That in short what it is. And so I think it speaks to confidence reposed in him by the Prime Minister and the team, ministers. And so he is off to a good start. The Pineapple Project, it was in the news this morning. We teamed up with ICA to do what? A $40,000 investment immediately. The cabinet some weeks ago approved the investment defense, all of the perimeter of the lands of Kates Bay. So agriculture is in a good platform. A minister comes to this space now, comes to a good place. I would have made the point earlier sometime, 2 months or so ago, that there's no sector of the economy that is better poised for investment and takeoff than agriculture. And I stand by that. And young Smith will have a chance now to, manage that platform to the benefit of Antiguans and Barbudans. So to Antiguans and Barbudans, I want to say to you, I have every confidence in the young minister and new minister. Give them your support. Let us make sure that agriculture, continues to grow. There's a big expo plan for later this year between trade and agriculture. So I'll have to talk to my successor minister in his new role as agriculture minister, I from trade, to plan this very big expo. We're hoping it happens around Independence time to showcase the talents of Antiguan and Barbudans, agro-processors, farmers, you name it. So a big agro trade expo in October, late October, is on the cards. Again, the minister comes at the right time. He has now to put his imprimatur on these things to make them happen.
A final question. How does it feel being a part of a history-making cabinet with the first independent MP to sit in the executive?
We are much more... I feel proud of that. I'm really proud to be a part of that. I feel even better to know that I would have been magnanimous, as PM puts it, to facilitate this happening. But I want to show Antiguans and Barbudans there are many more history-making, what should I call them? History-making developments that we witness in coming weeks, coming months. This is only the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Interesting. Let's see what those are.
I'm no Nostradamus. I'm no Ezekiel. I'm a worker.
Let's see. We wait with bated breath to see what those are. Minister, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All the very best to you.